Oh, hi there, everyone! Yes, this is a remake of an older video, except I'm doing my newer look and the newer record player compared to the old one. Anyways, I have an interesting piece of memorabilia related to my classic Oscar-winning cartoon. Yes, it's another record, except this time it's one of those read-along book and audio sets. You know what I mean. See the pictures, hear the story, read the book. The book and audio read-alongs have been around since at least the 1940s. Disney's were pretty popular, even when they first began doing them in 1965. In fact, this was one of the earliest titles in the series. It was made when Walt Disney was actually still alive. According to the back, the story is on a small LP, and as the narrator reading every word exactly seen in the book, it says, "An entertaining way to assist non-readers to learn and to help beginners to improve their reading ability." However, these early read-along records were presented in a somewhat unusual manner. The first side of the disc had the entire story narrated by a single narrator with no music, sound effects, or character voices. And the second side of the song, or songs relating to the story. In this case, the story is narrated by Robbie Lester, a.k.a. Miss Jessica, from Rankin Bass's Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and the singing voice of Miss Bianca and the Duchess and the Aristocats. Also, in addition to releases based on Disney's movies and shorts, there are also some original stories of the characters, like the Seven Dwarfs and Their Diamond Mine or Thumper's Race, unique adaptations of classic fairy tales Disney had not done before, and even stories based on Disneyland attractions. Something tells me Disneyland Records is running out of ideas at one point. Now, as you can see from the cover, something is off. Yep, it's how I look. The illustrations, as you can see, are adapted from this little Golden Book adaptation of my cartoon from 1948. You know, the one that made me look like this. Freaky black-furred fowl or bear fox like Walt you see on the pages. Incidentally, you should have seen how my friend Bear Fox dressed up as me this year. Sure, it was a hoot. However, Western Publishing, the parent company of Golden Books at the time, also had a hand in publishing these book and audio sets in the past. They even did little Golden Book read-alongs like this, which you've seen Mushu review before. But anyway, sorry about that. Anyway, enough of this yakking. Let's listen to the record. Yes, a lot of us old tunes still have record players. What do you expect? I'm old.
This is a Disneyland original little long-playing record, and I am your story reader. I'm going to begin now to read the story of The Three Little Pigs. You can read along with me in your book. You will know it is time to turn the page when Tinkerbell rings her little bells like this.
Yep, the classic chime-ringing
Let's
sound.
begin now. Once upon a time, there were three little pigs who went out into the big world to build their homes and seek their fortunes. The first little pig did not like to work at all. He quickly built himself a house of straw.
They're unnamed in this version.
Then off he danced down the road to see how his brothers were getting along. The second little pig was building himself a house too. He did not like to work any better than his brother, so he had decided to build a quick and easy house of sticks.
This read-along version does not have the lyrics shown, like the actual Golden Book.
Too. It was not a very strong little house, but at least the work was done.
No strings on this
Now the second little
violin.
pig was free to do what he liked. What he liked to do was to play his fiddle and dance. So while the first little pig tooted his flute, the second little pig sawed away on his fiddle, dancing as he played. Then off danced the two little pigs down the road together to see how their brother was getting along.
There's this
The
again.
third little pig was a sober little pig. He was building a house too, but he was building his of bricks. He did not mind hard work, and he wanted a stout little, strong little house, for he knew that in the woods nearby there lived a big, bad wolf who
Meat up
liked
that.
nothing better than to catch little pigs and eat them up. So slap, slosh, slap. Away he worked, laying bricks
The
and
slap,
smoothing water
slash, slap
between them.
sounded like farting. Like,
Laughed the first little pig when he saw his brother hard at work. Ho, 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 ho! Laughed the second little pig. Come down and play with us, he called. But
That's
the
not
busy
how they
little pig
laugh.
did not pause. Laughed the two lazy little pigs, dancing along to the tune of the fiddle and the flute.
narrator's voice kind of like Velvet Inkling.
You can laugh and dance and sing.
Classic one, not the new or naive
But
one
I'll
from
be safe and
Scooby-Doo
you'll be sorry when the
Incorporated.
wolf comes to the door. Laughed the two little pigs again.
That illustration
And they
was
disappeared
recycled from
into
the cover
woods
of
singing
the
a merry tune.
60s reprint of the Golden Book. Ugh, look at this ugly
Just as
head
the
shot
first
of
pig
me.
reached his door, out of the woods popped the big bad
That's a
wolf.
jerk face if I ever
The
saw
little
one.
pigs squealed with fright and slammed the door. Little pig, let me come in, cried the wolf. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin, said the little pig. Then I'll hop and I'll pop and I'll blow your house in, roared the wolf. And he did. He blew the little straw house all to
We
pieces.
don't see it though.
Away raced the little pig to his brother's house of sticks.
No, she's using,
No
unlike a
sooner
witch
was he in
voice
the
she was
door
doing
when
instead of
knock,
the
knock,
wolves.
knock, there was the big bad wolf. But of course, the little pigs would not let him come in. I'll fool those little pigs.
Oh, that's not even
He left
trying.
the little pig's house, and he hid behind a big tree. Soon the door opened, and the two little pigs peeked out. There was no wolf in sight. Laughed the two little pigs. We fooled him.
No, he
Soon
just
another
softly
knock at the door.
said he's gone.
It was the big bad wolf again, but he had covered himself with a sheepskin and was curled up in a big basket, looking like a
Oh
little
yeah,
lamb.
my only disguise that those two pigs didn't fall for.
Who's there? Called the second little pig. I'm a poor little sheep with no place to sleep. Please open the door and let me in,
Cheeky.
said the big bad wolf in a sweet little voice.
Sounded more like a whiny
The little
voice the way
pig
she did
looked up at
it.
the door, and he could see the wolf's big black paws
What
and
pause?
sharp
There's three
fangs.
hooves there.
Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. You can't fool us with that sheepskin, said the second
Yeah,
little
but they
pig.
fell for my other disguises.
Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in,
Oh,
cried the angry old wolf. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed,
I can do better than that.
and he blew the little twig house all to pieces. Away raced the two little pigs, straight to the third little pig's house of bricks. Don't worry, said the third little pig to his two frightened little brothers. You are safe here. Soon they were all singing gaily.
Not that kind of gig.
This made the big bad wolf perfectly furious.
Ugh, look at the smear
No,
here.
by the hair of my chin chin chin, he roared.
Yep, I said that in the
I'll
cartoon.
huff and I'll blow your house in. So the big bad wolf huffed, and he puffed,
Again?
huffed, and he huffed, but he could not blow down that little house of bricks. How could he get in? At last he thought of the chimney. So up he climbed, quietly. Then with a snarl, down he jumped, right into a kettle of boiling water. With a yelp of pain, he sprang straight up the chimney again and raced away into the woods.
I don't know what else
The three
thinking.
little pigs never saw him again.
That's all the
and spent their
sequels in
time
the
in his own
comics.
little brick house, singing and dancing merrily.
Alright. I'm sure some of you noticed something missing. My Jewish peddler disguise. Of course, all the adaptations of the short omit it to avoid racial stereotypes. Then again, they did modify the story in the original, deleting the turnip and apple-picking fair scenes used in other versions, like the Richard Scary ones. Some of you are probably also asking now, where was the song? It said it was afraid of the big bad wolf on the book cover. Well, like I said, one side one could take the story and side two of the music and songs, and yeah, that's how they usually did it. And also featuring background. Let's see. Beginning in 1976, new releases would combine them, often incorporating the songs into the story, featuring background music and character voices. It was also a good way for children to re-enjoy a Disney movie or short in the days before home video was popular. A word of note on this record, though. You might remember when I reviewed this LP here, you'll recognize the recording of the song. Additionally, the infamous 1978 version of this book and audio set also uses it, adding narration of a few additional songs. But we're not going to listen to that this time. Let's listen to this. I really need to make a record player for tunes to handle. Well, here goes. That doesn't sound anything like the real Piper Pig's voice. Then again, his real voice sounds more girlish than that. I believe this version is arranged by Camerata. Like a lot of Disney read-along titles of the period.
I built my house of snow. I built my house of brick.
To be practical, to sound like a sissy little girl. And this recording was actually made in 1958, though, as one of the Disney storytellers sing us. So what do I know? They didn't say this part in the cartoon. Yeah.
You can play and laugh and spell. Don't think you can make me start. I'll be there and you'll be starting when the wolf comes to your door. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Oh, punch him in the nose. I'll punch him in the nose. I'll kick him in the chin. We'll turn him on his back.
No, they must be machine gun noises at that part.
The big bad wolf, the big bad wolf. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf?
Okay, here it comes.
Open the door and let me in your house of straw.
Not much fair on the chin chin chin.
I do not sound like that. It didn't just collapse like that in the cartoon. I didn't say that chasing a reader.
Curses! He's safe inside his brother's house of
Sounds kind of like the Sesame Street Big Bad Wolf.
He's gone.
That's what they think.
Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? The big bad wolf, the big bad wolf. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Who's there?
Oh, you know what that music means.
I'm a poor little sheep with no place to sleep.
I know, that's cute.
Open the door and let me in.
Not by the hair of your
Next time I try to shoot the sky split, I'm actually gonna make the bass sounds when I do it.
And I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in.
No wonder that recording combined these illustrations would scare the crap out of kids. You didn't go flying at that part.
Stop! Stop, you little pig! I'll catch you anyway! Curses! They're both safe in their brother's house of bricks.
See, I told you what would happen when that big wolf came around. Only bricks and stones are wolf.
This worked better with the Richard Scary version, as you saw in that music video on this channel.
Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? The big bad wolf, the big bad wolf. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf?
2 bits.
Open the door and let me in!
That's not the hair of the pretty big man.
What a load of crappy crap.
I'll puff, and I'll blow your house
The
in!
voice actor doing this would have been better off voicing a werewolf. Come on, I didn't do it that quickly.
If I can't blow the house in, I'll go up on the roof and come down the chimney. And I'll catch the 3 little
Would be a
pigs.
sad mistake.
Hurry! Light a fire under the kettle in the fireplace.
Getting a sense of deja vu here.
Now I'll slide down the chimney.
I don't yell in pain like that.
We're safe!
Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? The big bad wolf, the big bad wolf. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? La 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 la. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? The big bad wolf, the big bad wolf.
Perhaps hope he doesn't do that little trick knocking on the piano like he did in the original. Alright. You see what I mean? I guess of all the releases they had, Disneyland Records did not know how to properly make... No wonder I fail at catching the pigs often. I could be pretty clumsy. But I guess of all the releases they had, Disneyland Records did not know how to properly release my classic onto vinyl or whatever. They should have just gotten me in when they recorded that. Then that nightmare wouldn't have happened. But anyways, now that I've finished the record, I can celebrate the channel uploader's birthday with some better music.